are we spending enough time on China, too much time on China, and how much importance should we attach to the destiny of Western markets on those vagaries?
Well, you cannot spend too much time on China because China really matters from a geopolitical point of view in Asia, where we move to a bigger political, military, economic weight. That's simply the fact. And the second thing is the impact with Western economies, namely Europe and the US. So it's one world economy. But I would make a clear distinction what is going on in the real economy in China and in the capital markets in China. And I think one of the challenges is really the opening of capital markets, you know, IMF, special drawing rights, opening of the currency. Of course, there's huge capital flight to impose capital controls. I mean, Western economies are littered with capital controls over the last 20, 30 years. I mean, I remember in 70s, 80s, we had fixed or floating forex regimes. So that's nothing new. These are the challenges. So you cannot spend enough time on China as a part of those 3-4 factors driving the global economy and global capital markets.
The problem is they're the consumer of 50% of the world's resources, so that's your underlying figure for, you know, the focus that people put and the importance that they put on each of these data points. But as you quite rightly mentioned, even if we separate out what's going on in the real economy versus what's going on in the capital markets with their stock market and the policy measures that they either correctly or incorrectly apply, we don't separate what they're doing there versus the concern that actually they're going to take incorrect actions as far as the real economy is concerned, that the policy is confused and they're not ready to deal with it. How do they prove to the markets that actually this will be okay? Or are we just going to continue to be dragged around by potential policy missteps on something that's so new to them, which is liberalisation of capital markets?
We have to see the missteps in a context of liberalising capital markets. As an investor, most money with the growth of China the last 20 years you did by investing in Western companies. At the right time into the commodity super cycle, you could invest in luxury brands. At the right time, you could go for car companies, for consumer companies, etc. And over time, of course, Chinese giants are developing, the Chinese capital market is developing. But you know, in most developing economies, you have a huge disconnect between the real economy and the capital market. In the US, market cap GDP is 1-to-1. Even in Europe, Germany is 50% of German GDP is not in the capital market and not the refinancing of companies in the capital market.